So in this module, I just want to explain a few of the costs that you need to be aware of when you're selling on Amazon. Now, Amazon will take a commission on everything that they sell, whether they're shipping it as FBA, which is the prime, or whether you're shipping it yourself out of your own warehouse, the commission will be the same. And typically it's about 15%. Some categories are 8%, some categories vary a little bit from it, or 12%, but for most products it's 15%. So they're going to take that no matter how it's shipped, whether they ship it or you ship it yourself. Then on top of that, Amazon, if you're doing FBA, which is what you want to do because customers trust FBA more than they trust you to ship it, and that's their preferred way of receiving stuff, is via Prime or directly from Amazon. Amazon's going to charge you a fulfillment fee. And these fees that Amazon charge, in most cases, are astronomically low, way lower than what you can actually fulfill it for. Unless it's a very small item like an earring or a small piece of jewelry, you're probably not going to be able to beat their fulfillment rates. Now, in some cases, on really big, heavy items, big, bulky items, you might be able to beat them by doing FBM because you're going to have to pay twice to ship that in, once to ship it into Amazon, pay high storage fees, and then have Amazon ship it out. So in those cases, sometimes, big refrigerators or big things like that, it's better for you to ship yourself or to drop ship. But in most cases, Amazon FBA fees are just ridiculously low. Also, the fees to ship into Amazon are ridiculously low. So when you actually are shipping your products from your 3PL or from your warehouse or from your house or wherever you're storing your items into Amazon, the prices are really low. Amazon is partnered with like UPS and FedEx so you can ship individual cases in. Typically, you can only ship up to 150 items in a case, so no matter what it weighs, and they don't really like things that are over 50 pounds. We'll talk about that more in another module. Or you can ship by pallet. It can be a full truckload of pallets or a partial truckload of pallets, and Amazon has partnered carriers that will ship that in, and their rates are super low, and you can set these up within the Amazon Seller Central. When you go in to create a shipping plan, you can actually choose how you're going to ship it, and Amazon will organize the label and everything and just deduct the amount from your Seller Central account, from your sales. And so their rates are super low for that. But the fees that you're getting charged on Amazon are very important to keep in mind, because they can add up. Even though they're reasonable, they can still add up. There's also storage fees on Amazon. So Amazon, depending on how much space it takes in their warehouse, it's not so much based on the weight. Shipping fees are based on the weight and the size, but the storage fees are more based on what's the cubic size, how much space does it take up. And Amazon will charge you both a monthly fee and a long-term storage fee. The long-term storage fees kick in at 6 months. So if you have slow-moving inventory, Amazon doesn't like that tying up shelf space in their warehouse. So they will charge you some pretty hefty penalties for items that stay more than 6 months. So you typically want to try to move your inventory, be working and turning your inventory at least 4 times a year, ideally 8 to 10 times a year if possible. That's called inventory turnover. Just by example, a company like Walmart, in their stores, they turn their inventory over 8.3 times per year. The average Amazon seller is probably closer to 3 or 4 times. Some of the guys doing supplements and the big heavy things are weekly or even monthly. But those fees can really add up if you don't pay attention. Another thing that can make a huge difference is the size of your product. So the packaging. So when you're thinking about the fees that Amazon's going to charge for fulfillment and for storage, it's not just the size of the product, but the size of the packaging. The size of the packaging, even shaving off 1/4 of an inch sometimes, can save you $2 or $3 in shipping costs. It can put you in a different tier. Down below, there's a link to all the current shipping fees on Amazon, and you can see the size and weight dimensions. So if you're able to engineer your product to where it folds down, or it collapses, or the actual packaging can fit into the next tier down, you can oftentimes save a tremendous amount of money on your fulfillment fees. And this is something that a lot of people overlook. And they just accept whatever the factory says. This is the size of the box, we put it in, and take a look at that and see if that's within a close range of getting into the next tier down. And if it is, see if you can't re-engineer that packaging or the way the product is assembled inside or broken down inside, so that you can get that down to the next level. That's why IKEA and everything you put together, you buy at IKEA, you put together, they're doing that same thing. They're engineering it to keep their packaging to a minimum, the footprint to a minimum, letting you do all the work. Another thing to keep in mind is the storage fees on Amazon are different between January and September and the fourth quarter, which is October to December. In October to December, they typically go up quite a bit. And you can see this in the profitability calculator. If you have the X-ray extension from Helium 10 that Bradley showed you earlier installed in your Chrome browser, you can actually pull up on any product on Amazon that's already existing, the profitability calculator, and you can actually see how making changes in the dimensions or the weight can impact your bottom line right there in that calculator. Another thing you got to keep in mind is dimensional weight. Sometimes something is lightweight, but it's big. Picture a big, huge balloon, birthday balloon or something. That can not weigh much, but it dimensionally can take up a lot of space. And so Amazon applies dimensional weight to a lot of things too. And so something that's small and lightweight, but is in a big package, can actually sometimes cost more than something that's super heavy and in a smaller package. So keep that in mind too. The shipping and storage fees that Amazon charges can add up quickly. And Amazon really doesn't want to be your warehouse. They want to be a fulfillment center. So they like your products coming in and going out as often as they can. So what they do is they have a score that they assign to every seller called an IPI score. And this takes into effect how often you're shipping things in, how well you're managing your inventory, how often you're selling through it, how often you're replenishing it, how long is stuff sitting there. And if that score dips below 450 at Amazon will start restricting what you can do. They'll start restricting how much new stuff you can send in. They'll start restricting a whole bunch of things, and that can really negatively affect you. So you got to make sure that your IPI score stays above 450, or you're going to have some pretty bad troubles selling at Amazon. Another thing is, just keep in mind, is that commission that I mentioned earlier, that 15% commission. That commission is the price the customer pays. So if you're offering a discount, if your item is normally $20 and you gave a $5 coupon, that 15% is going to be based on the selling price of $15, not on $20. So that's based on the price, the final price that the customer pays is what that commission is based on. And so keep that in mind too. So if you're running promotions, you're not going to get hit at the full price. What a lot of people are doing now is using what's called a 3PL, a third-party logistics warehouse, where they're storing some of their inventory, and they're having that company either ship that in periodically as needed, or ship it directly to customers if you're doing FBM or you're selling through your own Shopify site or something. In the past, a lot of people would ship everything directly to Amazon, but Amazon's really, they'll still take stuff direct as long as it's within your limits on your account, but they really don't like that. And so setting up a 3PL is going to be very important for you going forward, to not only protect yourself against these storage limits and storage changes that Amazon's constantly making, but also to give you a backup plan in the case that you run out of stock or something takes a while to check in at Amazon. It can take a while sometimes for items to get checked in to Amazon. So if you're shipping by truck, by like a semi truck, sometimes that stuff can take 2 to 4 weeks to actually get checked into Amazon. Versus if you're shipping by UPS or FedEx, it can oftentimes get checked in quicker because Amazon has standing relationships with those shippers. So there's a whole number of factors, but a 3PL can help you organize all that and make sure that you stay in stock and you keep that IPI score above 450 so you don't have any problems selling. So those are just a few of the things you got to consider on the fees that Amazon charges you to sell. We'll talk to you again in the next module.